Okay. Okay. And we'll just wait another minute or two, see who else can join, and then we'll go from there.
I like your cutting board, Charles.
Thank
Nice
you.
cutting board.
Thank you.
And you've got some good prep. So I will say that I already made a bunch because I had the prep out already and my kids came home and they were starved. So I had to make some already, but I have some prep left so I can still.
That's good.
And one thing it will be fun and I'll be able to maybe. My daughter didn't want rice noodles because she's gone carbless for. So I made some zoodles and put them in. Lovely.
Okay. We'll do another minute. I saw 2 more people join. How's everybody's day?
Good. How's yours?
Good. Pretty good. Tired. Had class today.
I felt that one. It's been a long day.
A very long day. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'll have Jennifer introduce us.
Okay, great. Thanks, Charles. Hi, everyone. So I'm Jennifer, and I have here Jessica with me, along with Charles, who is a WHISK ambassador, and Professor Kubota, who has the WHISK Cooks program. So we're very glad that you can join us today for this WHISK Cooks. Today we'll be making Vietnamese spring rolls, followed by 2 optional summer rolls and a peanut sauce. So our plan is to do all that within the hour. For the Vietnamese spring rolls, I'll be walking you guys through the cooking process, and Jessica will be walking you guys through these steps for the summer rolls and the peanut sauce. And Charles will be the one demonstrating the steps. So I think Charles's video is already pinned for everyone, but if it's not for you right now, it'll be helpful for you to pin his video so you're watching the cooking demonstration. I'm actually gonna turn off my video once he starts cooking so that it's not a distraction. So before we get started, go ahead and wash your hands if you haven't already done so. And then after you wash your hands, what you want to go ahead and do is grab a pot that you can cook the rice noodles in and fill it up with water. So Charles, I don't know if you're able to show them the size of the pot you're using, but you probably want like a medium-sized pot. And the amount of water that you put on there will depend on the size of pot that you use and how much noodles that you're cooking. But you probably want to make sure that you have enough water to cover the rice noodles. So once you have the water in there, you can turn on the flame on high until it starts to boil. And once the water starts boiling, you can put the water in there. Do you already have the flame on? Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
If you guys don't have a stove or anything to kind of like heat the water up, you guys can always just microwave a bowl of water for about 2 to 3 minutes and get the water nice and hot, and then just submerge your noodles in there as well. That's another alternative to not having a working stove. So that's also another alternative, and that will cook the noodles just fine as well. And that's just so that, you know, you guys without the stoves obviously can be able to cook the noodles as well, because this is the only cooking that's really required of this recipe. Everything else is just assembly. So if you guys don't have a stove, you guys can use one of those electronic kettles, or you guys can use a microwave and just a bowl of water, and then just keep them submerged for about 10 to 15 minutes. So me personally, I do have a stove because I am at home and I have the water boiling already. So I'm gonna go ahead and place the noodles into the pot. And then you guys should do that as well. And then we can get started with the rest of the demo.
Okay, great. And it takes about 10 or 15 minutes for the noodles to cook, depending on the brand and the type of noodles that you use. But if you use the noodles that you guys received in the bag, then it should be about the same time.
Yep.
Okay, great. So just really quickly, I just want to point out the ingredients that we have laid out here. So all these ingredients are what you received in bag from us. So you should have the rice paper, the rice noodles, the carrots, cucumbers, mint, the lettuce, and the Thai basil. So it'd be helpful for you guys to lay out your ingredients like Charles have on his setup, just so that you can easily grab them. And then in terms of kitchen tools that you'll need, you'll be using a cutting board, a vegetable peeler, a knife, a bowl, and a plate. So now's a great time to get these items out. All right, so here you go. So while we're waiting for the noodles to boil, let's go ahead and start prepping some of the ingredients. So let's go ahead and grab our carrots. Perfect, Charles. So you want to go ahead and if you haven't already washed the carrots in cold water, we've already done so, so we're not going to do it. But go ahead and do it if you haven't washed the carrot yet. So now you want to grab your, so Charles is cutting off the ends of the carrots. Looks like, yes, he's cutting off the ends of the carrots. Charles, you haven't peeled the carrots though, right?
I have not.
Okay, so he's gonna grab the peeler right now. And what you want to do is hold the peeler to like the middle of the carrot and press downward like he's doing right now towards either your bowl or towards your cutting board. And just keep doing that as you're turning the carrot. And also if you, and once you're done with one side, Charles will go ahead and flip it around and peel the other side. So if you don't have a peeler, you can also use the back of a knife. It does take a little bit more effort though, but that is something that you can do in case you don't have a peeler. All right, so he's done with one side, so he's gonna go ahead and do the other side now. So we're making right now just 2 Vietnamese spring rolls. So 1 carrot should be sufficient for that. All right, so it looks like he's done peeling. So now he's already cut off the ends, but what we want to do now is cut the carrots into small batons, which are basically like sticks that are approximately 2 inches long and 1/2 inch wide. So you want to grab a knife for this, and you want to hold the knife with your dominant hand and hold the carrot to the cutting board. And then he's going to cut the carrot in half and then down the middle so that they are in shapes of a stick. And now he's going to cut again down the middle of the carrot so that they're in batons. And now's a great time to like work with your practice your knife skills with these carrots. And again, if you don't have to be exact, but if you're a little bit more experienced, you would want the batons, which are like 2 inches long and 1/2 inch wide. And it's really important that when you're cutting the carrots, you want to make sure that the carrot's flat on the surface, and then use your non-dominant hand to like guide your knife, but make sure your fingers are curled in and the fingers are planted firmly on the carrots. And this is called a claw grip, and it's good to use for safety reasons. All right, so now once you're done with cutting the carrot, you want to go ahead and put them in a bowl. And then if you haven't already washed your other vegetables, like your cucumbers, go ahead and do that now. We've already washed our cucumbers. So with the cucumber, we're going to do something very similar with the carrots. So Charles is going to cut off the ends of the cucumber. And then you want to cut them lengthwise. And now, so you have two sides of the cucumber, and Charles is going to deseed the cucumber using a spoon. So you're just taking off all the seeds there. You want to do this for both sides. So he's going to do the other side now. And something to mention is that if you guys want to peel the cucumbers, you can. We're actually just leaving the skin on ours, but it's optional. If you want to take yours off, you're more than welcome to. All right, so now that we're done deseeding, we're going to cut them into batons like we did with the carrots. So Charles is going to cut them in half. And then now he's going to cut them lengthwise. And again, batons are about 2 inches long and 1/2 inch wide, but doesn't have to be perfect. But if you do want to practice your knife skills, now's a good time to do that. All right, and he's just gonna finish the last section of the cucumber. All right, so we're done with the cucumbers. One optional step here for you guys is to destem your lettuce. And you can do that by taking the leaves from both sides of the stem off. We're not going to do that, but if you prefer less texture, then you can go ahead and destem your lettuce. All right, so I think Charles is gonna check on the noodles. Do you wanna let us know if it's near ready?
Let me check.
Okay.
Yep,
Oh, perfect.
they're looking good.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go off camera right now and go and drain these noodles. So the step after that is to make sure that you kind of rinse them with cold water to kind of stop the cooking process a bit. And then I'll come back in a second.
Okay, thanks, Charles. All right, so go ahead and drain your noodles. If you have a strainer, that's great. You can put the noodles directly in there. Or you can use something to hold the noodles back in the pot while you pour out the water. Just be careful of the hot water. So Charles is going to run the strainer in cold water for about 30 seconds, and then he'll be done with the noodles. So let's give him a second to do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna put these here.
Oh, perfect. All right, so it looks like we're ready for the assembly. All right, so so right now you want to find your rice paper and plate.
So I'm gonna be using a cutting board. You guys
Okay.
can use a plate. Whichever is easier to kind of pull them off because they can get a little bit sticky.
Mm. All right, great.
And
Yeah.
then, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this sheet of rice paper and you're gonna just submerge it in some warm water. Okay, like so. And you don't want to get it too wet because it'll continue to moisturize itself as you're rolling. So you're just going to go ahead and submerge it slightly. Okay, like so.
All right, so then now we're gonna start adding the ingredients. So you want to start with a small layer of noodles.
And this is where we're going to start the.
Okay, and then he's going to grab a leaf of lettuce. And then we're gonna grab a cucumber. He's gonna put, it looks like he's gonna put a couple in there. It's entirely up to you. And then he's gonna put in the carrot. And then to top it off, we're going to add some mint and some basil leaves. All right, it looks great. So now once we have our ingredients in, we're going to take the bottom of the rice paper and tightly roll it over all the ingredients so the ingredients are all underneath. And then he's going to fold in both sides of the rice paper. Okay, once you're done with that, then you want to continue rolling the spring roll up until it's closed like a burrito. And you just want to make sure you're rolling it tightly so it's not together. Perfect, that looks great. So we have one finished spring roll. So I think Charles is going to go ahead and do one more spring roll for us. So feel free to make another one with him. And again, if you guys have any questions or comments, go ahead and feel free to type them in the chat box. One of us will respond to it. And so there's many versions of this Vietnamese spring rolls out there. Like right now we're making the vegetarian spring rolls, but you can definitely modify it, right? So that you can add protein there, such as pork for something a little bit more substantial, or you can add in shrimp, which is probably one of the more popular items to add in a spring roll. Or if you want to do another vegetarian option, you can add the tofu. But just note that all these items, the shrimp and the pork and tofu, they all need to be cooked beforehand before you put them into the spring roll. All right, so while Charles is finishing up this last spring roll, I'm going to take this opportunity to pass the mic over to Jessica, who will take over from this point forward. And I'm going to mute myself. So go ahead, Jessica.
And before Jessica starts, you're good, you're good. So before Jessica starts, for the basil and the mint, I know that sometimes the taste is a bit strong. The flavor is very strong. So if you guys don't want to use as much mint as I did, that's completely fine. There are also like, you have your other veggies and stuff like that. So really, like the reason why spring rolls are so versatile is because you can use all these different veggies. Like I know that people use bell peppers and like actual peppers and stuff like that. So it's all like texture, like what kind of texture do you want? What kind of flavor do you want? But like I said, for the mint leaves especially, I know that some people will take half of the mint leaf and just use that. So if you don't want the flavor too strong, there's no rule that says you have to use a bunch of mint leaves or whatever. So it's up to your own, like based on taste. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Charles. So yes, so the next modification that we will show you is a summer roll, which I really don't see it often when I go eat Vietnamese food, honestly. Like I kind of was new to this, but basically it's the same exact thing as making a spring roll. So you're gonna use your rice noodles, whatever vegetables you want. So lettuce, and then the basil and mint. But instead of cucumber and carrots, you would replace that with either fresh mangoes or avocados. So in our bags, we didn't provide it, but this is just a modification. So as you see, Charles has the pre-sliced already, and you just simply put it on top, as you would do with the regular spring roll. So this is usually eaten in other foreign countries, and it's in the name, summer roll. Usually this is eaten to cool down more, and so they're always cold, and it just keeps people more cool. And especially using mangoes and avocados gives a more vibrant color as well, and of course flavor. Of course, there's so many more benefits to using avocados because it contains high levels of healthy beneficial fat, which often could make people fuller at times.
You also have written instructions there, right?
They're making it here.
Ooh, is that recorded?
And then using mangoes is also beneficial because of the nutrients given from it, such as multiple vitamins and a lot of that. But yeah, this is it's not really common as much, but just a good variation to have if you ever like to make these. Yeah, so making these rolls are really simple. It also is very low. It doesn't cost too much to make these. It could be about like $10 to just get all of these ingredients. So it's very affordable, and it's also a very healthy meal to eat actually, and it's not too heavy. So eating these items, you could be really full, but still get all the nutrients in. So as you see, he's doing the mango one. People probably might see this as also weird, but it's kind of be like a variation of also eating like sticky rice and mangoes too, just with some vegetables. So it kind of gives you like that sweet and savory taste as well. And there you have it. Yep.
Okay, so we have our 4 spring rolls. And then we've also included in your little baggies all the ingredients to make peanut sauce from scratch. This is usually eaten with spring rolls. The other option, as I think I mentioned on the recipe card, is basically fish sauce with lime juice, a little bit of sugar, and some Thai chilies. So that's the other popular option, but personally, I prefer the peanut sauce just because I like the consistency of it. It's a little bit thicker. It's not as strong in flavor as the fish sauce would be, because it's something that is an acquired taste. It's kind of stinky to some people and stuff like that. So I already have ingredients prepped out, but you guys can take this time to kind of take everything out. This recipe is a lot more simple. It just takes a lot of mixing. So go ahead and get your ingredients out, and then we can walk through how to assemble this peanut sauce.
Yeah, like Charles said, like you use other sauces. Like the other day, I used sweet and sour sauce, and I actually usually use peanut sauce for it. So it's actually a really good combo together. It just gives different flavors. So it just depends on you. Okay. Okay. So all the ingredients are out.
Okay, so
Okay.
before I get started on assembling it, you guys might have noticed that the ginger root and the cloves of garlic and as well as the lime that we gave you are not prepared, quote unquote, for you guys. So I'm gonna walk you guys through how to prepare each one of these, starting with the lime juice. So for the lime juice itself, the measurement calls for 1 tablespoon of lime juice. So that's about half of the lime that we gave you. But before you go ahead and cut it and then try to squeeze the juice out, what usually helps is kind of putting a little bit of pressure on it and rolling it around a flat surface like a cutting board or a counter or something like that, just to get it to soften up a little bit. So that's where you're going to get your 1 tablespoon of lime juice. And then as you guys can see here, I have 3 cloves of garlic that I'm going to show you guys how to prepare. Your guys's, I believe, has a little bit of peel on it from the bulb itself when we were prepping it. So I'm going to show you guys how to go ahead and remove the peel as well as start the mincing of the garlic. So what you want to do is you're going to take a single clove and you're going to put your knife like this and you're going to press down. And it's gonna basically break your garlic into smaller pieces so that you can chop it more finely. And that removes the peel as well. Some pieces of garlic actually have the peel on it. So if you smash it like that, then it'll come off easier, makes it easier to peel. And then what you're gonna do from there is you're gonna actually just prep all 3 of your garlic pieces right next to each other. Some need smash. Like that. Okay. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna finely chop it. And feel free at this time, or not at this time, but usually when working with garlic, sometimes the garlic smell gets stuck on your fingers. So if you guys want, you guys can use gloves as well. Okay. And for me personally, I like garlic, so I wouldn't dice this or mince this as finely as other people would. So it depends on if you enjoy the taste of garlic, because these garlic pieces will just be present in your sauce. So it's up to you guys how finely you guys want to chop it. I'm just going to chop it this fine, just like that. And I'm going to leave it aside for now. Okay. And then the last item that you guys have to prep for in terms of the ingredients that we gave you guys in the baggies is the ginger root. So 1 tablespoon is about half of the ginger root that we gave you. So we gave you a little bit extra, and here for Whisk, we kind of advocate for food for thought, which is kind of like use all of the ingredients that you're given. So if you ever don't know what to do with ginger specifically, a good option is to use it for ginger tea. So you can always use some of that leftover water in your for your noodle cooking, and just go ahead and pour some over, and then you can use the other half of your lime as well to make ginger and lime tea. So definitely a lot of options in terms of what you can use for these ingredients that we gave you. Same thing with the rice paper. A good recommendation by Professor Kubota is to use these as kind of salad wrappers. So she wraps Caesar salads inside of her rice paper, and it's kind of like an easy way to bring salad on the go. You don't really need bowls or anything like that. And then you can use those to just have a nice picnic or something like that. So with the ginger root, I'm gonna use about a piece like this big. And then same thing, or actually not same thing, but you're gonna try to dice it as finely as possible. So I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna go this way. So I'm just gonna dice it. Okay. And ginger is a very strong taste, so you guys don't need too much of it, just enough to kind of create that flavor profile. So 1 teaspoon, I believe is what it says on, or 1 tablespoon, sorry. 1 tablespoon of ginger. So I have that. Okay. And now we can move on to assembly. So go ahead and get a bowl, about a medium-sized bowl, and you can go ahead and take all the wet ingredients. So that would be the peanut butter, soy sauce, the rice vinegar, the lime juice, and the chili oil. And you're gonna let it incorporate. So oops, and I'm gonna have the peanut butter in here. Like that. And then I'm gonna mix the soy sauce, vinegar, lime juice, and the chili oil. And then we're gonna start stirring to get that nice and mixed together. Okay, and once you see this sort of nice paste, you're going to add your dry ingredients. So I have brown sugar, I have my garlic, and then I have my ginger. And I'm gonna mix that together again. Okay. And at this point, if it's too thick and you guys prefer it to be a little bit more liquidy, you guys can add bits of water. So like a spoonful or so, just to see if the consistency changes to your liking. I personally like the thicker consistency because it gives it more volume when you're dipping it into the spring rolls, but you guys don't necessarily have to follow exactly what I'm doing. But this is the overall recipe. And yeah, so this is the peanut sauce. And then we also have the spring rolls right here. And that concludes my demonstration. Does anybody have any questions?
I do want to chime in really quick. I just want to let everyone know that Professor Kubota will be sending out a survey by email after the event tonight. So just be on the lookout for that email, and your feedback will be appreciated.
Does anybody have any questions for me about the process or any recommendations or anything like that?
Hi,
Yeah.
everyone. Charles, Jennifer, Jessica, that was awesome. Great demo. You guys did a fantastic job. I don't have anything to comment other than I just wanted to say one thing because I made the recipe today as well. I prepped everything, but my kids saw it after school and were starved. So I had to make mine earlier so I could feed them. They couldn't wait. But one thing that I did that was really fun and interesting and different is my daughter for Lent has given up carbs. So she didn't want the rice noodles in hers. And you can totally leave them out. Like you could just make this a salad wrap or a veggie wrap, and that would be totally fine. But I did make zoodles. So I took a zucchini and I have a handheld zoodler. If I can find it, I'll show you. Hang on one second. So I have this handheld zoodler. It's got, you know, two sides to it. One is for thick and one is for thin noodles. And so I did the thin noodles so that they were more like the rice paper or the rice noodles that you guys made tonight. And then I just quickly, like very quickly sauteed them off in a skillet. So a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and just to get them not raw. So like 30 seconds in a hot pan, and remove them and put them in a colander and drained them. I actually pressed them a bit to get out some of the moisture because zucchini is so full of moisture and water. But then I used those in place of the rice noodles, and my daughter loved them. So if you are someone who likes extra veggies or for some reason don't want to do rice noodles or just want to try it, the zoodles actually worked really, really well. So, just wanted to throw that in. That's it for me. I'm going to sign off. Any comments from our participants? We have a lot of people on. We didn't hear hear too much from y'all, but y'all are welcome to unmute and comment or ask any questions you might have. You've got 3 senior nutrition students and 1 graduate student, actually, I think, who are happy to answer any questions you might have. And I'll spit things in chat. All right. Well, I think this was a great
Of course. You're welcome,
first
Jasmine.
spring event. Really great job, guys.
Yeah,
So-
I just want to say I don't have any questions, but I'm eating it. It's really good.
That looks
That's
great.
good. That's good.
Thank you, guys.
Any other comments?
Colby?
Oh, spring rolls look great.
Yeah,
That's
thanks for
good.
showing. If anyone else wants to show their spring rolls, we'll be happy to look at them. All right, thanks everyone for participating. We appreciate it. Hope you guys have fun tonight.
Hey guys, this is Praveen.
Just
here.
reminder, we have 2 more coming up this spring. Did you announce those already, Charles?
I have not. So we have 2 more events coming up this spring. We have one on April 14th, which is going to be an Indian theme. It's going to be a veggie curry. And then we have another event on May 5th for Cinco de Mayo. We have yet to decide on a recipe for that, but we will get that out soon, probably in the next week or so. So we look forward to seeing you guys again. It was good seeing you guys.
Thanks everyone. Have a good night. Bye.
Have a good
Thanks for
night, guys.
coming. Thanks.